Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins go down, but you have some momentum going. I was really disappointed. I was honestly heartbroken because the Vikings being good, I mean, you got the purple uniforms, you got the skull chant, you got the horn there. So I'm like, for Kirk Cousins to go down when the team was figuring it together, you're in the NFC, it's a bad conference, you have a chance to make a playoff push. Then they bring in Josh Dobbs, comes in, their quarterback gets hurt, their 5th-round rookie, he's down. Josh Dobbs hasn't even taken a snap with the team. He was just learning the playbook, and then Kevin O'Connell's like, you're a rocket scientist. We're going to be doing this on the sideline. I'm going to be with you every step of the way in your ear. The offensive line stepped up. The receivers stepped up. The running backs stepped up. And Jordan Addison has been a monster. TJ Hawkinson has been out there getting it done. And then Kevin O'Connell's like, hey, man, when in doubt, when the play breaks down, just go out there and use your legs. He did it versus the New Orleans Saints. Got a absolute incredible win versus the Saints. Last minute drive, leads them down the field to win that game. And then they have an absolutely dominant win this week where they played. Team was trying to come back on them, but the Vikings pretty much sealed that game and were able to take control of it and win that game this week. It was pretty incredible. You had Derek Carr go down in that game. Jameis Winston's throwing some Jameis Winston throws in a good way and a bad way in that game. Winston. And then the Vikings defense has been stepping up. I really like the addition of B-Flow coming into the season. Was excited to see that defense evolve and see that team evolve. And now with Justin Jefferson coming back, Josh Dobbs looks like a legitimate quarterback. He did with Tennessee last year. They gave the Jaguars a run for their money to make the playoffs. That was a dogfight in the last game. Trevor Lawrence was able to pull it out, but the Vikings, man, they're just making big plays after big plays. And this is a team that they're getting hot at the exact right time. And Josh Dobbs is just learning the playbook right now. And really the problem with that team, we both felt like, was the run game. They're like, how are they going to be able to run the ball? They don't really have that threat. Well, Josh Dobbs kind of alleviates that pressure because he's a dual threat quarterback in that offense that already has a great pass game. Jordan Addison looks like the return of Mike Wallace reincarnated. He's been balling out. And then TJ Hawkinson is doing TJ Hawkinson things, earning that contract. Every play, he's getting down, getting injured, but he's coming right back in there, making a big play with Josh Dobbs, and they're just finding a way to win. And a lot of credit to Kevin O'Connell for being able to keep that team together. I know you were critical of him. Some people were critical going for the field goals in the 49ers win, but I was like, hey, man, they won the game. I think Kevin O'Connell's a good coach, and the sign of a good coach is if you're able to win close games. Last year, they were able to do it. All of their games were a one-possession game they won last year, and the Vikings, they are back in a tremendous way.
And what's really exciting for me is Justin Jefferson's returning. So you have top 5 wide receiver returning. Jordan Addison, although the injury of Justin Jefferson was unfortunate for him, I think they needed that because since then, they've gone on a roll. You've seen players like Jordan Addison really step up. You've seen KJ Osborne step up, TJ Hawkinson. And then obviously the addition of Josh Dobbs. The issue that they had with their offense is now a bit mitigated. They did lose Cam Akers. Oh, well. And then on their defensive side of the ball, Danielle Hunter has been an absolute beast for them.
Yeah.
And now they're playing gritty football. And I think Josh Dobbs, he has that chip on his shoulder where I think he comes into the game for Jaren Hall. He balls out. He gets the win, come from behind. And then in this game, plays out of his mind against the Saints. And I think moving forward, there's a couple of teams that are in the playoff mix that are a little bit questionable. You have a team like the Saints where we saw Derek Carr go down. That whole NFC South was a disaster. Even the NFC West, you have like the Seahawks and the 49ers, and then the Rams. Who knows what they'll be with Carson Wentz, who did sign while we were gone. And then the NFC East, another kind of wonky division. You got the Eagles, Cowboys are front runners, and then the rest of that division's a wash. So Vikings, I definitely think, should be solidified in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, and their schedule coming up, they have some easier games where it's not like they have the toughest schedule in the world, and it's not like undoable for them to make the playoffs. And I think with the momentum they have right now, teams really rallying behind Josh Dobbs. We saw how hyped they were after that win. Yeah. Kevin O'Connell was excited. The defense is excited now with Josh Dobbs, and it seemed like he really added a spark where in their greatest moment of despair with Kirk Cousins going down, had that unfortunate unfortunate injury where he tore his Achilles, but didn't matter because Josh Dobbs is there now. He's making plays. He's smart enough where he's able to learn the playbook. In Arizona, he looked pretty good with how bad that team around him was. They don't really have a great offensive line in Arizona. Their best receiver is Hollywood Brown there. And then their tight end's pretty good. Then James Conner went down, definitely hindered that offense a little bit. And we saw him come back, kind of alleviate some pressure in Kyler Murray's first start with them. But overall, super excited about where the Vikings are going to go the rest of the season. And I think they'll make a playoff push.
And I'm even more excited for Josh Dobbs because he'll be a free agent this year, whether it's the Vikings that continue to have him or another team that wants to find their franchise guy. Josh Dobbs is a guy where you put the right team around him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a team, this team might not be looking for a quarterback, but a team like the Steelers or a team like the Titans even, get some weapons around him, surround him with a little bit of talent, and give him a decent offensive line. And he's going to ball for you, and he's going to play hard, and he'll learn the system really quick, and he'll make plays for you. And that's what you need in the NFL.